what you want to be when you grow up.
I want to be a motherfucking
All right, everybody, welcome back. We are on Power Ranking number 7. So far, we went through the top 8. We get longer every time. At 7, I hold Alex 316. He's moving up. Look, Alex is making moves, and I was so excited on draft night because Rick had just gotten the words out of his mouth about how slow and stale it is, and boom, here comes Alex with trade after trade.
Alex beat the over-under by himself, I think.
He beat the over-under by himself, 2.5, and he, what'd you do, 3. So he was crushing it. Now, I agree with Rick earlier when he said Alex's quarterback situation is garbage.
Horrible.
I took a steamy poop earlier, and it was better than your quarterback situation. But the rest of your team, I like it. And I mean, I kind of already touched on this, so I won't mess around with Alex too much. But I do want to talk about the fact that his receiver situation may be old, and it's still good, and it's deep. And Robbie Anderson is not dead, and he's his wide receiver 6. Like, that's not bad.
But I mean, like, why take Cole Kmet at 3-4 when you got Drew Brees sitting on the free agent waiver pool?
Right, and maybe I should. And you saying that alone just dropped Alex. That just dropped your grade. Like, your draft grade for me was good just because of the dancing you did and how you did it. But you just lost points because I realized that
Cole Kmet was 3-4 and then Brees was 3-5. So, like,
you had 2 needs to fill. You had a tight end need and you had a quarterback need, and you chose to go with the tight end that was probably the top tight end in the draft. I would think Cole Kmet. I mean, in a lot of people's eyes,
the tight end position this year.
It's hard. It's hard to figure out. But I mean, the guy's what is he? 6'5".
And how many tight ends do the Bears have? How many do they need?
Well, they lost Trey Burton.
Right.
So who do they have? Who's that guy Summertime took a couple years ago?
They have him still. I know who you're talking about. I forget his name.
I like the fact that you're trying to fill a need. Now that Rick brings it up, your main need probably was at quarterback. I mean, you lost Luck. You traded away Mahomes. All right.
At the very least, didn't he get Winston?
You had Winston. Well, he has Winston on his roster.
Like, so you have Winston. Like, why not take a shot at, well, now Cam. Keep Cam in the 5th.
You could have drafted Breeze and Cam, and you would have been even a better grade than what I have you. Right. So, look, you screwed up there, but let's talk about your draft, because we already talked about your team in depth here. Your draft, I had you at a B. I'm dropping you to a C+, just because of the quarterback situation. But what I really liked about it was that you got Julio Jones out of this draft. That has to be counted in. Look, you were sitting at 1-6. You traded it for 110 and 111. You get a hold of Ministry of Darkness. He wants 110 or 111. You give him 111. He tells you he wants Vaughn. You draft Vaughn right out from under his nose and still wind up with Julio Jones. Like, to me, that is classic. That's the Goddard.
He's talking about bringing his grade back up.
Yeah, let's talk about it. You just got back up to a B. That's the Goddard in Dallas situation that the Eagles pulled, and I love it. You jumped right in front of him. I love Duvernay in 4-2.
I like that picture.
That might be the one that we talk about a year from now, about how, hey, I can't believe
maybe?
Yeah, he fell to 4-2. Juju got drafted in the 2nd, but he's gonna, and he's no Juju. Don't get me wrong, but he could be somebody. He's gonna get an opportunity, and that's nice. So
in the 4th round, that's all you're looking for is opportunity.
Yep. So I talked enough about Alex. You talked about Alex. I'm putting him here at 7. Who do you have at 7, Rick?
My 7th position in the power rankings is Saxy Taxi. And Adam's already touched on Saxy Taxi's roster. Can't argue with Kamara. I think Kamara has a better year than he did last year. He had to deal with some injuries. Obviously, Breeze is getting older. Maybe his arm strength isn't what it was. And then his second running back, say what you want about Bell, but having him as your RB2, it's hard to do in this league. When you go down through the running back situation, it's tough.
Typical Steelers.
It's tough to have a guy that, when you talk about a guy that could have 300 touches. I mean, they have nobody behind him. P. Ryan, I guess, if you want to count him, but is Ty Montgomery still there? That's
Frank
the guy
Gore,
I was talking about earlier.
Tymo went to the Saints. That's the other guy. That's what we're talking about.
So yeah, I like his running back situation from a starter standpoint. Really, his only depth piece is Swift. So an injury to one of those running backs, and it's going to be a little bit of an issue unless Devontae Freeman finds a home. He's still hanging on to him.
Birds are talking about Devontae Freeman.
I like his receivers. I'm a huge Sutton guy. We talked about Brandon Cooks at length already. Landry, I think, is the most under. The guy's a top 20 receiver like every year, never gets talked about. So
I always sleep on him.
So he has those guys. He has Anthony Miller if he needs them. Now with
Anthony
Nick Foles,
Miller
with
to
Nick
me is a
Foles.
jag. He is the jaggest of jags.
with Nick Foles there, I think he's better. I do. I like Anthony Miller. I traded Anthony Miller to Zach, but I do like him. Mecole Hardman, another guy. There's just too many mouths to feed right now, especially them bringing Watkins back. But fix his tight end spot with Hunter Henry. I'm more of a Swift guy than Adam. I think Swift is going to be fine. I'm not so much worried about the Lions, just because I don't think I think Patricia's going to be gone. If they have a bad year, Patricia and his philosophy's out. Kyrion's probably gone. So now Swift is there by himself with a whole new philosophy. You bring like a guy like the Oklahoma coach in, or somebody with offensive mind, and maybe gets him a little more involved. So I do like Swift more. I wouldn't have taken him over Taylor, I'll say that, and probably Dobbins. But again, you like your guy, then you get your guy. And to be fair, like who would have thought Taylor would be there anyway? You know what I mean? Like so maybe you get caught flustered a little bit. And then if his quarterbacks take the next leap, if it's Goff or Locke, I know a lot of people are on Locke. I'm not as high on Locke. I don't think he's as good as everybody thinks they say. But if he takes the next step, he's got two young quarterbacks. He doesn't have to really worry about the quarterback position.
Well, and, I mean, we're talking about all the young guys. What do you think Rivers does in Indy with? I mean, he's got a vet like Hilton, and everyone. Look, people. Hilton is not a dead man. Hilton is a borderline wide receiver one when he plays.
I like it. I like it because he knows that offense too. Like I think he had Reich in San Diego, or it was the offensive coordinator.
Was
he
it?
had in San Diego. Somebody in that either the offensive coordinator or Reich was with Rivers in San Diego, so he already knows the offense. It's just and they have the line. They're a running team, so I think Rivers has a good year.
Who's the tight end over there? Doyle and Doyle and Mo Ali Cox, but I feel like they brought somebody in.
I actually think Doyle is a borderline top 10 tight end this year, and I don't know who
hate
has.
it. I like that.
I think I might have Doyle, to be honest with you. So if anybody wants him,
Doyle rolls.
I like Doyle, and when Doyle plays and Doyle gets targets, he's a top 10 guy. So I like it.
You do.
I like Saxey's team for this year. I mean, once you lose Bell, maybe Cooks. Cooks is a question mark. You don't know his longevity. Then you got some issues, but I think for this year he's borderline playoff team and gets lucky and maybe sneaks in. So Saxey at 7 with a draft grade. I didn't touch on the draft. Swift, Evans, Herbert, Troutman. I mean, it's hard to draft a really good grade when you only have one pick, but it's 1-3 and Swift. So C+ for Saxey Taxi at my 7th spot.
All right. Yeah, Sax is one of those guys where he's his team could make the playoffs and make a push,
Or he could be in the lottery.
or he could be in the lottery.
Like with a high chance.
Here, I'm going to show the board here. For those of you still taking tally at home, you can't see it. So I'm blue, Rick's red. You got it? If you don't know, now you know.